Monday, July 21st, 2014. Coming up today on the Pit Pass, we take a look back at the first half of the 2014 season. Plus, Chase Elliott wins in Chicagoland, and is NASCAR's popularity finally done and over with, or is it going to be making a comeback? And as we head to the Brickyard, we look back at some of the bigger memories. Don't go anywhere. Episode number 620 coming at you right now on ARN.
Get ready.
Stay ready.
Wrap in. And hold on.
Stay ready.
We're getting the green, starting right
Ready.
now.
How we need to do it, boys. That's awesome. Yeah. We're either going to get them or we're going to wreck. Fourth time, a little upset. Dude, I left the room. What the hell? Pisses me off so much. You have no idea. That was a bull call.
You never quit. This is how you're going to win a championship. You never quit.
Therefore, we're going to keep scratching off that bucket list for you, buddy.
Stay in it. Wide open. Come on. Come on, baby. How about that, boys?
You're awesome.
This is the Pit Pass, your personal pass to everything NASCAR. Live from the Pit Pass Racing Studios in Southern California, here's your host, Alan Bailey.
Okay, be honest. Do we need more off weekends? I'm of the opinion we do. Welcome on in to the Pit Pass, your personal pass for everything NASCAR, right here on ARN, the Motorsports Authority. I'm Alan Bailey. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at The Alan Bailey. Also, use the hashtag ARNRace to get in on this conversation as well. And it's going to get interesting because a lot of interesting things happening in the NASCAR world. Well, not really. That's a lie. I usually say that, but there's a handful of things. But the biggest one is, should we take more off weekends? 40 weekends a year. I tend to agree with yeah, because out of the 38 race weekends, I got to tell you, we only get 2 off in the middle, and that's Easter and this weekend for the Cup guys. That is quite exhausting. You're talking about 40 straight weeks, and then guess what? By the time Thanksgiving rolls around, NASCAR drivers basically go, and then pretty much they go to Vegas, and then after they go to Vegas, they more or less get the month of December off, and then by the time December and the holidays are over with, you literally hit the ground running after the first of the year. You go down to Daytona, test, photo shoot, PR, Daytona, speed weeks, and then there we go again. Enough. I'm being serious. It's to the point where it's just, yay, another off weekend. I mean, it's just exhausting. It's exhausting to somebody like me in the media who, frankly, isn't on the media tour circus, who isn't a beat reporter, who isn't at every single race. It's exhausting to me. My heart honestly goes out to the truck drivers, to the crew members, to the media members, to all of the people that travel with this moving circus that is NASCAR. My heart goes out to you, honestly, because this wasn't an off weekend. This was well, it's time to do laundry and wash the car, and whoop, there goes the weekend. Time to get back at it this weekend. Come on, lazy bum, let's go. And it's just exhausting. It's, seriously, it's that. It's just, I hate to describe it with a sound effect, but that's what it is. It's just to the point where you're just like, I don't want to do it no more. That's why so many people are burnt out. Somebody asked me, late last season, Mike Callahan, who was a NASCAR spotter for Roush Fenway. He spotted for Matt Kenseth during his championship run, spotted for Ricky Stenhouse for his rookie campaign, and basically he started his own business online, and he's got a number of businesses online, and he finally hung it up this year. When asked why after 25 plus years, he basically said, well, tired, not young anymore. I wanna enjoy life, and I don't blame him, because when you're on the NASCAR beat, when you're in that NASCAR media circus, it's just one thing after another, and it's just bleh. It's just so overwhelming sometimes. We played this clip for you a couple weeks back, and I want to go back to it because I think it bears repeating. Brian France, when he addressed the media in Daytona a couple of weeks ago, he talked about the 2015 season. Personally, and I've said it here before, we got to cut back. I think we need to be at, realistically, no more than 25 races a year. Period. I think if we go to every racetrack once, and we add a couple of racetracks that we've neglected because of money, whatever, it'd make for a better schedule, add a couple of road courses, then it gets interesting. Revamp the chase so that it's, let's just say, 5 or 7 races, and you actually go to all the different types of racetrack and not just a bunch of mile-and-a-half tracks that are owned by the France family. Oh, did I say that out loud? I didn't mean to. Wait, yes, I did. The fact of the matter is that it needs a revamp. We've been going 38, 38, 38, 38, 38, 38, 38, 38, 38, 38, 38, 38 for so damn long that it's just bearing down on the people that are working in NASCAR. It's bearing down on the fans. And a great example of that is the fact of the matter that when I was in Irwindale over the weekend, which we'll get to when we get into our news and notes here, basically somebody said, well, they're racing in Chicago this weekend. Cup guys, they race tomorrow, right? Keep in mind, this was Saturday night. This was maybe 20, 30 minutes after the Nationwide race had ended and Chase Elliott was in victory lane. And I said, no, just Nationwide only, final off weekend. Oh, those Cup guys race too damn much. It's like, yeah, they do. They race way too much. Yeah, so do the Nationwide. The truck drivers, honestly, I think have the perfect schedule. I hate the fact that when we start the year, we race in Daytona, and then we have a month off, and then we race at Martinsville, and then we have a month off, and then we race again at Texas. I absolutely hate that. The fact that you give those guys 2 months off right there at the beginning is very frustrating, but I understand. You don't want to take the trucks to those racetracks because of money. I get it. I get it. Money makes the world go round. I understand that, NASCAR, but quit thinking about your damn bottom line right now, because long term, your bottom line might improve. France talked about the 2015 schedule. He had this to say about its completion.
It's a unique time because we're starting with a new television partner coming obviously next year. There's been some weather issues, as you well know, in the last several years at Bristol, as an example, and then some other things that we would naturally look at as we go along in the schedule. And now that the chase format is changed, there's additional interest to move from one place to another. So there'll be a robust discussion that will be, for those reasons, a more comprehensive look at what the best schedule will look like. I don't have any of the details today. We'll be releasing that in September, but it's fair to say that there's a robust discussion within the stakeholders to come up with the best schedule that we can for 2015 and beyond.
That's Brian France right there. When he says stakeholders, keep in mind this is a business, but also keep in mind the France family owns about 99.99999999999% controlling interest in NASCAR. They own International Speedway Corporation, which is a quote-unquote parent company of NASCAR, which basically means, hey, it allows us to own the racetracks, therefore we're going to keep sending all of our races to these tracks that we own. That way we keep making money. And when he says we'll meet with our stakeholders, what he really means is my family will get together and we'll think, well, how can we basically justify keeping more races at our facilities, which are the mile-and-a-halves, and not keeping it boring? How about this? Get your head out of your own. Honestly, it's stupid that you honestly sit there in front of the NASCAR media, in front of the world, and say, well, we're going to meet with our stakeholders and try to find a better way to do this. No, you're not. You're going to move a handful of races around. Honestly, we're not going to see more than 5 races move, 5 race dates. We're not going to see a road course in the chase like there should be, like the fans want. We're going to keep racing in the months when we have heavy rain, and we're going to, oh, by the way, be racing in areas where there are heavy rain because NASCAR wants to put those races somewhere. We need to start racing in March, period, and we need to be done racing by the time Halloween rolls around. Basically by the time football season rolls around. You know why? We can't keep up, NASCAR. Think about it. I'm looking at a list of the actual 50 most watched sporting events of 2014. To this point, and this is accurate until July 17th, 2014, guess what? Guess what? The top 8, all NFL games on Fox and CBS. The number 1, obviously, is the Super Bowl. Number 2 is the NFC Championship with the Seahawks and the 49ers. The number 3 was the AFC Championship with the Broncos and the Patriots. Then the NFC Wild Card, the AFC Divisional, the AFC Wild Card. It goes on and on and on. Basically, that's what you're talking about. The top 8 were all NFL. Number 9 was the Olympic opening ceremonies. Then guess what? After that, number 10, NFL. Number 11, NFL. Number 12, NFL. The World Cup came in at 13th. The Olympic primetime event came in at 14th. The BCS Championship came in at 15th. Still no NASCAR. Looking all the way down, the rest of the top 20 is basically Olympic coverage and a single World Cup game. Then after that, outside the top 20, World Cup, then another Olympic game. Then more football. Then horse racing. Horse racing is 26th on it. The Belmont Stakes is 26th on this list. Then guess what? The rest of the top 30, Olympic. Then after that, the Rose Bowl, 32nd. Then we get into the NBA, which is something that was not talked about and it was not watched for the most part this season because it was Heat and Spurs and everybody kind of went, yeah, who cares unless you lived in those cities. The NBA final, game number 5, ranked in at number 33 on the top 50 most watched sporting events of 2014. Then after that, more World Cup, more the Sugar Bowl made it in there. The Final Four made it in there. More horse racing, the Kentucky Derby 39th, then more NBA at 40th, then a little bit more of the NBA Finals, more of the World Cup, more Olympics. But basically it boils down to the rest of your top 40 the top 50 did not include NASCAR. Not a single damn race, period. Not just NASCAR, all of racing. Not a single damn race made the top 50 most watched sporting events of 2014. What does that say? It's boring. It's diluted. Because when you have 38 races a year, NASCAR, it gets boring. It is. It's to a point where it's like, well, you missed this weekend? Oh, don't worry. They're going to be racing there in 2 weeks. That's exactly what somebody said to me about Pocono. You missed the race? Don't worry. They'll be racing there in a month or so, and it'll be the same thing. And it is. Why the hell are we racing at those racetracks? Besides the fact that it rains there a lot, and NASCAR puts them in the middle of the summer so that we can actually get those races in. Who cares? When you're referring to races as, well, we'll get it in, then you're pretty much setting yourself up for failure and boredom. I'm frustrated. I'm incredibly frustrated. We're going to get to this, tweets and emails following the break here and following me calming down because I'm honestly just bleh over the whole thing. But right now, I do actually want to do this even though I pushed it back a little. I broke format a little. My bad. We got your hot topics, and guess what? No surprise. Tony Stewart, almost a year after breaking the two bones in his right leg, got back into a sprint car over this last weekend and won. Yeah, go figure. And just one night after winning his first his first sprint car race in nearly a year, the 3-time NASCAR champ was back at it. He finished third, actually, in another race out in Michigan. So congratulations, Tony Stewart, getting back behind the wheel. Smoke. Nice. And you might have heard the big story in Southern California with racing was the fact that you had 3 generations of Gillilans behind the wheel out at Irwindale over the weekend. Former NASCAR K&N West champion Butch Gilliland dusted off his old driving uniform and took his son, which is the current NASCAR Sprint Cup Series driver David Gilliland, and the up-and-coming late model driver Todd Gilliland, in a super late model race in Irwindale over this last weekend. It was a 75-lap main feature event, and guess what? Grandpa, yeah, I'm calling him Grandpa, Butch Gilliland, hasn't raced since 2002, but honestly, it was the youngster. Todd Gilliland learned virtually everything he knows about racing from his father, and guess what? It paid off. He came home third. Grandpa, Butch, came home fifth, and it wasn't exactly a great night for David, who was running inside the top 5 when a caution came out, and he thought he was cleared of a race car, and it wasn't exactly true. Him and Ryan Partridge, who's a local favorite out here in Southern California, got into a little bit there, and it collected Gilliland, who backed it into the turn 2 fence and just pretty much ended his night. He finished well outside the top 15, and it was local race car driver Jason Pattison of Corona, California, that would end up winning the race, followed by Jack Madrid of Dove Canyon, California. And yeah, I gotta hand it to Todd Gilliland, the 14-year-old rookie, coming home third, and Butch coming home fifth. Not too bad, guys, not too bad. And also, the Hauler Parade events at Indianapolis, the 3rd annual Kroger Super Weekend at the Brickyard, kicking off actually Thursday on Main Street in Speedway, Indiana. The event is going to take place from 5 until 8 p.m. local. It is free to attend, and the parade of more than 40 NASCAR Sprint Cup Series teams will arrive on Main Street starting at 6 p.m. With the haulers will then park on Main Street between 10th and 15th Streets, giving fans an up-close look at the legendary Hall of Fame driver and 1999 NASCAR Sprint Cup Series champ Dale Jarrett will be the Grand Marshal of the Hauler Parade. Other featured guests will feature retired Green Beret John Wayne Walden of Texas, the hero who actually got the naming rights for the Crown Royal presents the John Wayne Walden 400 at the Brickyard, powered by BigMachineRecords.com NASCAR New Sprint Cup Series race on July 27th at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Say that 5 times fast, why don't you? We're looking back at 20 years at the Brickyard this hour, so don't go anywhere. Plus, we're going to take a look at the fact that, oh yeah, that rookie sensation, Chase Elliott, picked up his 3rd NASCAR Nationwide Series race ever, his 3rd win ever, and his 3rd of 2014, followed by Trevor Bayne in 2nd, Kyle Larson, Casey Kane, Ty Dillon, Brian Scott, Eric Jones, Chris Buescher, Ryan Blaney, and Elliott Sadler were your top 10. We'll break down the race in Chicagoland as well. Plus, we'll take a look at the 2015 schedule. What do we know, and what's to be expected? Don't go anywhere. This is the Pit Pass, your personal pass to everything NASCAR right here on ARN. This update brought to you by our friends at Apollo Aesthetics. If you're looking for a brand new website, log on to apolloaesthetics.com in order to request a quote to build you that brand new website. And yes, they have summer discounts for ARN listeners. Mention ARN in your email, and yes, they're going to hook you up with a special gift. They help you with hosting Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram accounts. And oh, by the way, they help create a logo for you as well. Log on to apolloaesthetics.com to request a quote. Don't go anywhere. More coming up next. We're here on ARN.
This is ARN, the American Racing Network.
Do you have the next big idea or the next product to sell online? Don't know where to begin? Well, it's very simple. ApolloAesthetics.com. They'll not only help build your website for you, for your company, but they'll also help get you involved on social media and help get ads placed on Google. What you do is log on to ApolloAesthetics.com, where you can request a quote to build your brand new website right now. They'll help set up email and hosting for you as well. That's Apollo Aesthetics and ApolloAesthetics.com.
The odds of having a boy who grows up loving baseball,
1 in 6.
which earns him a college scholarship,
1 in 2,500.
that gets him a contract in the minors,
1 in 3,700.
which leads to starting shortstop in the majors.
1 in 290,000.
The odds of having a child diagnosed with autism,
1 in 150. You know the odds. Now learn the signs. Go to autismspeaks.org. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
Shifting gears.
John Force might actually be a cyborg. Let me explain. The guy is insane. He won his 140th Wally recently. He's got 16 World Funny Car Championships to his credit. And oh, by the way, he is 65 years old. Are you kidding me? John, seriously, what's in your Wheaties in the morning? Give me some of that.
Shifting Gears, Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern on ARN.
Live from the Pit Pass Racing Studios in Southern California. Once again, Alan Bailey.
Alan, I bet Junior Nation wants us to nuke all the races that Junior hasn't won at or can't win at, which apparently is most of them. Okay, yeah, I'll give you that one, but honestly, give Dale some credit. He's been doing a lot better this season. Him and Steve found something at the end of last season, and they're applying it this year, and honestly, the guy has probably the best chance he'll ever have to win a championship, and I'll go on record now, if he doesn't win a championship this year, he probably isn't going to win one. And I'm not saying he's incapable, I'm just saying it takes him a few years to get used to a crew chief. With the moving target that is NASCAR, it's very difficult. The fact that it's Steve Letart's final season, it would be incredibly fitting. I don't think anyone outside the sport or inside the sport doesn't want to see Dale win a championship. But honestly, I think Dale, if he doesn't win the championship this year, will go down as one of the greats that never wins one, just like a number of other drivers have in this industry. A couple that come to mind, Mark Martin and obviously Ricky Rudd, are two of the big ones that come to my mind. Sterling Marlin's another one that just never won one, and it's something that I'm keeping in mind going into really the last stretch of the season. We have a handful of races until the chase. Once the chase starts, it's going to get interesting. I'm not saying that this chase isn't going to be entertaining, because it's going to be damn entertaining. However, I think the worst thing that can happen for NASCAR is if we actually see an event such as Dale Earnhardt Jr. being eliminated early. It's kind of gonna just put the whole sport in a giant question mark, and it's going to question the chase. I really hope that the big name drivers, who frankly are near the top of the points right now, continue doing what they're doing once the chase starts. But honestly, it's not a question of, oh, well, who's going to be ready for the chase? Who's deserving of the chase? It's a question of, how is your car performing at that time and at that moment? That's what it boils down to, because honestly, once the chase starts, it's going to either be business as usual for a number of drivers and a number of teams, or they're going to go to shift a gear to keep on going, and there's not going to be anything there. Guys like Jeff Gordon, he kind of struggles over the long haul. I think it's going to be interesting to see if he keeps up this string. Jimmy Johnson, Chad Knaus, they're freaks. They're absolute freaks. They're going to keep it going. Dale Earnhardt Jr., honestly, he kind of has a history of doing really good for a while in the season, and then once the latter part of the season takes place, not so much. Typically in the latter part of the season, he typically just doesn't go anywhere, doesn't do anything, whatever you want to call it. And it's no fault of his, it's just how team chemistry works. I think they're burnt out, honestly. I think it's wise, the Jimmy Johnson approach, where you kind of go out there and you win a handful of races, secure your chase spot, and then at this point, wreck the car, just hang in there, do some R&D, do some testing, and figure out what's going on with the race car, because that's what is going on here. I'm looking back right now. There's a replay of some of the greatest moments of this season so far here in our studio, and I'm looking up at a race from the Auto Club Speedway, which for my money is still the best race out there. It's still the best race of 2014, just like it was in 13 and in 2012 and in 2011. But you look at it, that race had controversy. Boyer spinning out, you had tire issues, you had Jimmy Johnson, who had tire issues. That was the big story. You had Jeff Gordon almost win the thing. You had one heck of a shootout right there with Kyle Busch at the end. There's a lot of moving parts to this thing, and the fact that Johnson struggled at that racetrack, I think, is something that you have to kind of stand up and take notice to. But there were so many moving parts to that race. There were so many moving parts to NASCAR as a whole. A shorter schedule is something that I think is needed, not only because it would save money, honestly, it would save money, but honestly, we're kind of conditioned to have too much of a good thing. We're kind of like the fat kid who goes to Las Vegas and he goes to the all-you-can-eat buffet. He sees the dessert table and he thinks, I'm going to eat everything, yay! And then he goes and he grabs 3 things, he gets full, and he goes, I don't want no more. And then guess what? The next year when he goes to Vegas, he doesn't want to go to the buffet anymore because, I don't want no more. We're the fat kid. And I hate using that analogy, but it makes perfect sense for NASCAR racing. It honestly does. Because we see so much NASCAR racing. So much that it's just kind of like, oh yeah, they're at this place again. That's great. Congrats. Yay. Ooh. And then you get bored and you yawn and you fall asleep. Why do you think most NASCAR fans fall asleep during NASCAR races? Honestly, back these races down. Cut them in half. Honestly. It's an endurance race. Yes, I get that. I get endurance races. But I got to tell you, you notice that at other endurance races all over the world, NASCAR, nobody's in the stands. Why do you think that is? Nobody gives a crap. Yeah. If NASCAR backs down this schedule, it would be the most important thing that they could do. We're racing 10 months out of the year. Another month out of the year, we're testing. And pretty much that leaves about half of December for us to actually relax, which is 3 weeks, folks. 2.5 weeks out of the year when we honestly get a break. Ugh. We need at least 3 months off, maybe 4 months off a year, where we're not doing anything during that downtime, like, most sports. And then we need to not have so many races. Not every weekend. We don't need to race every weekend. Ooh, every weekend. Ooh, yeah, gotta be at the track every weekend. Ooh, yeah. No, it's too damn much. Way too much. Every NASCAR reporter on the beat that I know, every crewman that I know, gets an off weekend at some point. Gets multiple off weekends, actually, in some cases. That's what NASCAR needs. Desperately. Desperately. We need more off weekends. Because it's to the point where it's just absolutely ridiculous. Oh my gosh. I'm being 100% dead serious. It's exhausting. You agree. On Twitter right now, at the Alan Bailey. This one coming to us from John. It reads, Alan, we need more road courses, less mile and a half. It's boring. It's boring 5 laps in. It's entertaining for the most part, but it's also boring at the same time. A little confused on that one, John, to be perfectly honest, but I understand what you're saying. I agree with you. We need more road courses. But to be very frank, NASCAR, and when I say NASCAR, I mean International Speedway Corporation, only owns a handful of the road courses, and they don't like that. They don't want to be known as the road course organization, which is stupid because, honestly, you have some of the best racing on road courses in NASCAR. Go figure. You got to stop thinking about the bottom line. You got to start thinking about what's entertaining, what is something that the fans want, because that is what you honestly need to do. I'm just so tired of NASCAR controlling it. Honestly, we need to get to a point where NASCAR isn't owned by the France family, because clearly, and this analogy is made all the time, but I think that Brian France is like Tommy Boy in the movie Tommy Boy, because he's a guy who, frankly, grew up with a silver spoon in his mouth and was handed NASCAR by his father, who got it from his grandfather. His father and his grandfather ran it, for the most part, incredibly well. There were mistakes along the way, don't get me wrong, but for the most part, they had a very difficult job. They ran NASCAR, the organization NASCAR, fairly well, but I honestly think we need to get to a point where there's a group of people who control NASCAR. I think we need to have more than one family making the decisions based on this one family's need. Keep in mind, the France family, extraordinarily, incredibly wealthy. Very wealthy. They're in the top 2 percentile of this nation as far as money and income. They're multimillionaires. Their kids are set for life. With that being said, Brian France needs to get his head out of his ass because he really doesn't know what NASCAR fans want. He says he thinks he knows, and he does, oh, I do all this research. I know what the fans want. I'm Brian France. I, know, what, the NASCAR fans want because I'm Brian France, and NASCAR's in touch with their fans. NASCAR couldn't be on a different planet right now. NASCAR's in a different galaxy right now than their fans, truly, because NASCAR fans are turning the channel off. They are not going to the races. They are not watching. They're barely watching the highlights on SportsCenter at this point. NASCAR is dying. There was honestly a time in this country that you turned on SportsCenter, it was NASCAR, 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 NASCAR. You watched NASCAR. You followed NASCAR very closely. SportsCenter covered it. Everybody covered it. Everybody wanted more of it. And then pretty much when the economy took a dump, everybody kind of went, well, can't afford it. Well, still expensive. Okay, see ya. NASCAR and racing as a whole has always been a rich man's sport. And I should say rich person sport because, frankly, to play soccer, all you need is a ball. You can play it in a back alley, you could play it in a field, you could play it anywhere. And it's a great sport. I'm not a fan, but honestly, I respect the sport. It's a good sport. Baseball, same thing. You don't need anything. You need a bat and a ball and a field, period. Basketball, you need a basketball, period, and a court, or some kind of hard surface to play on and something resembling a hoop. You look at all these sports, same with football, you need a pigskin and you need a field or a parking lot or anything, and you can play it. You look at racing, you need a $1,000 car, and if it breaks, you need to put more money into it, and you need all this money so you can drag that car everywhere and make sure you pit that car. And if you want to be good, then you need to put more money into it, and by the time it's all said and done, you're putting in more than your house payment into that car. Awesome. Awesome. I'm not saying it's flawed. This is a rich person sport, folks. This sport costs money. I honestly think there is hundreds of thousands of potential race car drivers, male and female, that will never reach their potential because of money. I know that's the case. I know that's the case for most female drivers are in NASCAR. You look at NHRA, they give their drivers a shot, whether they're male or female. NASCAR? No. The sponsor money isn't there, frankly. And you need a sponsor to pick up the tab. Most females have been lucky. The ones that have made it in NHRA, honestly, fought tooth and nail. Oh my gosh. Total credit to them because, honestly, it's a very tough road uphill to get where they are. And the ones who are racing in NHRA are very fortunate to be there, but it's a tough road, folks. And honestly, they deserve all the credit. But, geez, this is an expensive sport. And that's part of the problem, too. I honestly see what the NASCAR Race Team Alliance is trying to do with cutting the cost. They want some of the pie. They want to make changes in NASCAR because, frankly, they're seeing changes in NASCAR being made that are, A, bad decisions because it's made by a bunch of rich people up in their mansions who don't look down at the people that they serve and don't care about the people that they serve, but instead are worried about their profit margins and about appearing to be empathetic towards their fans and towards their competitors than actually being empathetic to them. I understand that. They're trying to make change. I understand that. I respect that. But don't tell me that you're honestly sitting there not thinking about money, because money makes the world go round. But honestly, this is going to end badly because NASCAR doesn't want to admit that they're wrong. Look at the COT when it first came out. Whether it was that awesome nose or that awesome hip cooing, yeah, Brian France cooked that up. He was sitting in an office somewhere going, I know exactly what they want. We will relate to the young fan by putting a wing on the car. Because that's what all the Fast and Furious movies are doing. It'll be perfect. We'll be just like the Fast and the Furious movies. It's exactly what we need. My people tell me that's what's popular, because they did a Google search once. It's perfect. we'll put it on the stock cars. The fans will love it because we will tell them that they love it. We'll say that we did all this research, but really, we didn't do any research. It's perfect. That's honestly what Brian France thought. That was the thought process behind that science experiment gone wrong. Never mind the fact that when it got turned around, it turned into an airplane and it sent cars into grandstands and hurt people. But no. Brian France did a Google search once, so he knows what he's talking about. Yeah, sure, yeah. On that note, we'll go ahead and we'll step aside here. When we get back, we will take a look at this Nationwide Series race over the weekend. A little bit of shuffling, mid-season shuffling. We'll also take a look at the silly season and give you a silly season update. Plus, we will look at the Brickyard. Honestly, what does it take to win at the Brickyard? Don't go anywhere. This is the Pit Pass, your personal pass for everything NASCAR, right here on ARN.
This is ARN, the American Racing Network.
In today's day and age where every phone has a camera in it, everybody thinks they're a photographer. Whether they're putting stuff online on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook, they think they know what they're doing. But when it comes to hiring a professional photographer, you need someone with years of experience and the professional equipment that is necessary in order to capture a professional shot. Not a smartphone with some filter on Instagram. You need a professional with years of experience and photoshopping skills. There's only one place to go, and that's Self-Destruct Photography. Log on to facebook.com/self-destruct photography in order to check out their portfolio of work, plus get in contact with them to set up a date for your photo shoot. Whether you're looking to get some 8x10s done if you're an actor or professional, or if you're looking to get some family photos done to capture a moment forever, or if you need to get some graduation photos done that didn't turn out so great the first time around, or even if you're getting married, call my man Scott because he'll set you up. That's Self-Destruct Photography. Don't miss your shot with Scott.
Hi, I'm Jeff Hammond alongside NASCAR driver David Reagan.
When it comes to tire safety, nothing is more important than your tire's air pressure.
Just like a pit stop, checking your air pressure takes just a few moments.
And those few moments will not only keep you and your family safe on the road, it can also help save you money.
Properly inflated tires can improve gas mileage, which will save you money at the pump.
So be tire smart and make sure your tires are properly inflated.
Learn more at betiresmart.org. A message from the Rubber Manufacturers Association.
Okay, so let's say that you're trying to build a website for free on one of these website builders. You go ahead and spend hours uploading your personal information and all of the photos that you've taken of your products, only to find out that you can't bring a .com onto that website without paying a huge fee. And you can't remove those ads without paying a huge fee. And you can't remove all of those pesky "this website was built for free" buttons without paying a huge fee. By the time you've paid all these fees, you've paid thousands of dollars in order to remove all of these pesky ads. Why go through all the hassle? Why spend all of those hours doing it yourself? Go ahead and log on to apolloaesthetics.com, not only to request a quote to build your brand new website and to see a rendering of what your website could look like, but in order to set up services like email, hosting, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram accounts, and a whole lot more. That is Apollo Aesthetics and apolloaesthetics.com.
Live from the Pit Pass Racing Studios in Southern California, once again, Alan Bailey.
No, there's no NASCAR helicopter floating over my head, even though that is something that Brian France would do. I don't like Brian France. I think he's an idiot. I think he's a rich kid who's playing with the toy that Daddy gave him, and he doesn't take it... I don't want to say he doesn't take it seriously, because he does. I just don't think he does the sport of justice. I think that his decision-making process is atrocious, because ever since he's taken over in 2004... look at what NASCAR's done. It's honestly the coyote that just fell off the edge, and it's about to go splat. Because, and it goes back to what I said at the top of the show, you look at a list that was conducted by Sports Media Watch, the top 50 most watched sporting events of 2014 as of July 17, 2014, none of them include NASCAR races. Not a single damn one. The top 8 are all NFL games. Number 9 is the opening ceremonies to the Olympics, and then the rest of the top 12 is NFL games. Then World Cup, then more football, then World Cup, then Olympic, World Cup, Olympic, football, horse racing, the Belmont Stakes at 26, Olympic, Rose Bowl 32, NBA at 33, the NBA Finals with the Heat and Spurs. Then after that, Olympic, World Cup, football, World Cup, NFL, World Cup, horse racing, Kentucky Derby 39, then NBA, Olympic, NBA, football, World Cup, Olympic, World Cup, NFL. Hell, this is sad. This is really sad, actually. The NFL Draft, Round 1, was the 50th most watched sporting event of 2014. The Daytona 500 isn't even on this list. So you're telling me that more people watch the NFL Draft, which to me is the most hype-up, stupidest thing in this sporting world, and more people watched a bunch of people talking about who was going to end up where, when you can honestly go online and you can watch it all later, or you can just read the results like most people do in newspapers or online. More people watched the NFL Draft Round 1 than they did the Brickyard, than they did the Daytona 500. That's sad. Not a single race in any sport, drag racing, IndyCar, NASCAR, AMA Supercross, anything, not a single damn race made the top 50 list. My friends, we are in trouble. Our sport, racing as a whole, is suffering. What's the cause? I don't know. I'm not going to honestly sit and point at one thing because, frankly, I don't want to. But you look at it, 2004 really is where everything started to peak, which is right around the time that Tommy Boy Brian France took over. And I hate calling him Tommy Boy because I hate, honestly, to me, Tommy Boy was a great movie, and he was a guy who knew he was incompetent and knew he didn't know what he was doing, but he was trying his damn best. Brian France, honestly, thinks he knows everything. So I hate that analogy because it's very inaccurate. However, it's pretty damn accurate. I honestly don't know where to go with this one. I don't know what to do. Honestly, if I knew how to get NASCAR to be a very popular sport, and it was rivaling the NFL for a while, you were either watching football or NASCAR, and it was pretty damn popular. It was knocking on the door of the #1 sport in this country. Not anymore. Those days are very, very, very gone. And I don't know what the cause is. I really don't. But you honestly look across the board, sporting events in this country are down as a whole. NFL football, down. NBA, down. Major League Baseball, down. It's not good. I don't know. I want to get to some tweets here before we get to our final break. Going on Twitter, hey, Alan, what did you and the missus do for your anniversary? Yeah, I celebrated an anniversary with my girlfriend over this last week here. Yeah, it was actually last weekend. Honestly, what did we do? What did we do? We honestly just relaxed. We got a room near a beach, which was nice. We woke up to the sunrise, which was very nice. A little bread and breakfast thing. It was very cool, very relaxing. We went, had some breakfast out at Knott's Berry Farm. Didn't go in the park, but ate down there. Just really sat around and did a whole bunch of nothing, which was awesome. Thank you for asking, by the way. I appreciate that. What did you get her? Honestly, we had agreed to not get each other gifts because we thought, well, I don't really need or want anything. The only thing that we wanted was this card game, Cards Against Humanity, which, by the way, if you haven't played, I do recommend it. Very, very, very funny, fun game. A little inappropriate at times, but very fun. The box says it all. A card game for horrible people. Yeah, pretty much. That's us. It was very cool, though. Very cool. It just came in over this last weekend. Got a chance to play it this last week, so that was very cool. Very cool. Hey, Alan, Are you looking forward to Eldora, or do you hate the dirt? Hashtag clean guy issues. I'm not a neat freak, but yeah, I am very much looking forward to Eldora. Eldora is coming up on Wednesday, and we have a number of different drivers who are entered in it that aren't normally in racing as a whole, or in truck racing as a whole, which is honestly great. You look at it, Ken Schrader is in the 00, Austin Dillon is in the number 2, Ty Dillon is in the number 3, Norm Benning is in the 6, Michael Annette is in the 14, Kyle Larson is in the 32, Cody Eschlinger is in the 83. But honestly, you look at it, a lot of different drivers entered in this event. We have 33 different entries, which is significantly lower than it was last year. Last year, it was upwards of 50 different drivers, and honestly, it was one of those things where everybody was jumping on board and very much wanted to be a part of the very first race at Eldora, which was awesome. It was a great race last year. It was the highest rated truck race of the year by far, and it honestly rivaled most cup races and most nationwide races as far as the ratings and attendance. The thing sold out last year like in less than a week, and same thing this year. It sold out. So honestly, it's going to be a great race on Wednesday. We're going to have pre-race coverage. You can listen in to Shifting Gears right here on ARN starting at 3 p.m. local time out here in California, 6 p.m. Eastern. We're going to have your full coverage. It's going to be a fantastic night. It's honestly one of those things where you honestly can't look away. And I honestly truly mean that. The actual race, the main event, is scheduled to start right around 9:16 Eastern, 6 p.m. local time. So we'll take you all the way up to 4 p.m. local time. We'll get you ready because honestly, there's some great racing that's going to take place to try to get into that main. There's a whole different rules package thing that we'll talk about on Wednesday's episode of Shifting Gears, so you don't want to miss it. It's going to be very interesting. And with that, I'll get back to some email or some tweets here. I'm trying to do a better job of getting to some tweets. I truly am on the show. I honestly keep forgetting because there's so many things that we're doing on this show. But this one coming on Twitter, Alan, are you going to do Wednesday's episode of Shifting Gears in your Batman voice for Batman Day? Nah, I don't think anybody could do it that long. Honestly, I can't do the Batman voice for an hour. I don't even think Christian Bale could do it for an hour because honestly, that's a very painful voice. You know, I'm Batman. This is the Dark Knight. I don't think I could do it just sounding like that just all day. Welcome back to Shifting Gears. See, I'm getting dizzy already and my throat's hurting. I couldn't do it. I can't do it. I won't. And if you're unaware, Batman Day is Wednesday, and it's the 75th anniversary of the very first Batman comic book coming out. So it's kind of a big deal for comic book nerds, and I'm a closet nerd who's not so closeted. So yes, I'll admit to that. But on that night, we'll go ahead, or on that note, we'll go ahead and we'll step aside. We will be back in less than 60 seconds. Don't go anywhere. It's the Pit Pass, your personal pass for everything NASCAR.
This is ARN, the American Racing Network.
Newsflash, it's 2014. It's time to get your business online. Log on to ApolloAesthetics.com in order to request a quote to not only build your website, but to set up your custom email and to set up your hosting, your social media, and more. They can also help market and brand your products in order to get more customers, in order to sell product and get it flying out the door. Log on to ApolloAesthetics.com right now to request a quote to get all of these services done and a whole lot more. That's ApolloAesthetics.com.
Shifting Gears.
Did anyone actually doubt that Juan Pablo Montoya was going to get into victory lane? The only thing I doubted was that it took him this long. Ooh, he got into Pocono. Ooh, that's a NASCAR track. Ooh, he can only win on NASCAR tracks. I don't want to hear it. The guy is a world champion. You can put him in any race car anywhere, and he's going to win. Whether it's NASCAR, IndyCar, doesn't really matter. He's going to win, no matter what, period.
Shifting Gears. Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern on ARN.
Live from the Pit Pass Racing Studios in Southern California. Once again, Alan Davis.
Okay, so this tweet just came along, and honestly, at first I thought, oh yeah, right, but honestly, it's not a bad idea. Alan, should NASCAR just go full hockey and let the drivers fight and then call it a day whenever it gets too bad? Yes! Honestly, it sounds stupid, it sounds like it's degrading, but honestly, think about it. Racing as a whole, ever since we were racing on dirt tracks in the 40s, has always had fighting in it. There has always been fist fights. There's always been brawls. I've been in a few out here at local short tracks. It's not uncommon. Every short track in the country has had a brawl in the garage area, either in the garage area or on track at some point. That honestly is a great idea. As stupid and as naive, I guess, of our sport as it is, it honestly isn't. Because what put NASCAR on the map? What put racing on the map? 1979, when the Daytona International Speedway's Daytona 500 was broadcast live on CBS for the very first time, and then we heard that famous line that's ingrained in our minds, "There's a fight in turn 4. The tempers overflaring. They're angry. They know they have lost." And they're going at it like there's no tomorrow. They're throwing helmets. They're grabbing each other's feet. They're putting each other on the ground. Next thing you know, there's two guys, grown men, in fire suits, going at it, wailing on one another. And I don't mean like a little slap fest or push fest like we've seen in NASCAR in recent years. I mean, these guys were drawing blood. It was something like you'd see in MMA fighting today. And honestly, it was. One guy went to kick another one. The other guy grabbed that one, threw him down onto the ground. It got physical. They were on the ground fighting. They were brawling. A couple other guys got in there. Some other guys got into there to try to break everything up. That was live on CBS. After that, the entire country stood up and went, maybe there's something to this whole NASCAR thing. Not that I want to see people fight. Not that I want to see people get hurt. I'm simply saying it clearly is something that makes our sport go round. So do the crashes. I hate seeing wrecked race cars. I hate it with a passion. But that's part of the game. It's what attracts people. Honestly, full disclosure, when I was 5 years old, I started watching NASCAR racing. Honestly, as a 5-year-old boy, I thought the crashes were awesome. Ooh. And then guess what? I learned the drivers, I learned the situations. I always kept thinking, ooh, I hope he crashes, to the guys I didn't like. And I thought, ooh, I hope he doesn't crash, to the ones that I liked. Then next thing you know, not crashing turned into winning, and winning turned into having a good run, and having a good run turned into points day, and then it got boring. So there's potential there. There really is. I honestly think NASCAR should do what hockey does and let them fight that way they do. Whatever happened to boys have at it, I don't really know, because NASCAR's gotten so damn tight-lipped with their damn rule package. If this turned into a demolition derby out on the racetrack, I think ratings would be very much increased. But the fact of the matter is you have a lot of guys that don't like each other in the garage area, and they don't express that to each other or out loud, because we're NASCAR. We're one big happy family. We all get along. We all like each other. Hoorah. Bull! It's absolute lies. These guys hate each other. They hate each other. They're prima donnas. They're self-centered. They care about themselves. They think they care about the fans, and they go around saying, well, it's all about the fans. But they don't care. I want to see an uncut, uncensored NASCAR driver. We see that with Tony Stewart. Tony's not putting on an act. He's not sugarcoating his act or his deal to you. Tony Stewart is Tony Stewart. You don't like it? Tough. That's why I love Tony Stewart. That's why I love interviewing Tony, because although it's challenging, he's a jerk. He's our jerk, but he's a jerk nonetheless. That's what we need. We don't need more jerks. We need more guys out there being who they are. Matt Kenseth is a wimp. So is Greg Biffle. Carl Edwards proved that many a times. We need more of those type of drivers that are willing to be the good guys, who are willing to be the bad guys. We don't see that in NASCAR. Who's the bad guy in NASCAR right now? Exactly. I don't know either. We don't have a bad guy. It used to be Dale Sr. Ever since he passed, God rest his soul, we haven't had that guy that we all kind of went, ooh, I hope he wrecks. And then when he wins, you go, well, he's good. Kyle Busch is kind of in that category, but not really. He's sponsored by M&M's. Kids love Kyle Busch because they love his sponsor, which is great. Great for the sport. But be a bad guy. Be sponsored by, like, the NHR. You know what would be great is if Kyle Busch got a sponsorship from the National Rifle Association, the NRA. That would be amazing. That would be the ultimate bad guy wrapped up in a great little sandwich right there for NASCAR fans to hate. And I love Kyle. I honestly do. Kyle Busch, to me, is going to go down as the greatest racer of our generation as far as the skills. As far as his on-track record, not so much. Joe Gibbs, thanks. But honestly, if you wrap him up in that little package, it would be fantastic. It truly would. But we're never going to see that because NASCAR wants you to think that all of these guys are good, that they're all friends, that they're all buddies, and they all like each other. And that's not the case. Drivers are all afraid to wreck each other because they're so worried about the points and blah, 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 blah. I'm thinking after this year, you're going to start seeing guys take more shots at one another and retaliate, and NASCAR's going to let it slide because who cares, and you want to let them slide because you want more wrecks, and you want more altercations, and you want more drama. Ooh, drama, yeah. I want to see that. Now, this weekend, we're heading to Indianapolis. Obviously, we know the history at that racetrack. We know what it means, and we know that ever since the Nationwide Series started racing there a couple of seasons ago, it's very much diminished. It's kind of like, well, you didn't win in the Cup race, but you won in a Nationwide car. Good luck, great, have fun. NASCAR's worst decision was taking the Nationwide and Truck Series out of IRP, whatever sponsor was on that racetrack when we left it, because they kept changing it every other year practically. But Indianapolis Raceway Park down the street from the big speedway was the perfect house for the Nationwide and the truck race because it was right down the street. The Cup guys were in town. Everybody was there. The fans were there. They were caring. They were awesome. And pretty much NASCAR / the track decided, no, let's go ahead and let's race on the big track. It makes more sense. Boring. The Nationwide race as a whole, boring, pointless. Who cares? The drivers there are great. You have a lot of young talent. Chase Elliott is one of them. He won over this last weekend. He's one guy that honestly is going to have a great future in Cup. Casey Kane. But honestly, I honestly don't watch the Nationwide Series. And it's not because I don't see enough talent. It's not because the sponsorship's not there. It's because I don't want to watch the Cup guys warm up. I hate that. I absolutely hate it. Let's do this. Kill the Nationwide Series. It's not going to happen, but it's an idea. Kill the Nationwide Series. Take those cars, run them with the trucks on the track at the same time, just like Grand Prix does. Just like the Grand Prix does. That'd be awesome to see those two cars on the track at the same time, to see two races going on at the same time would be kind of awesome. And we race at tracks, frankly, that can hold these teams. Keep the Cup guys out because the Cup guys, frankly, are taking all the wins, but they're bringing in the sponsors. Great. But let me say this. If you need Cup guys to race in your series in order for your series to survive, maybe it shouldn't survive NASCAR. I'm just saying that's something you honestly have to consider. If I'm NASCAR, you have to step back and think, well, the Nationwide Series, what is now called the Nationwide Series, is the better part of 30 years old. Is it worth saving? The Truck Series is the better part of 25 years old. Is it worth saving? The Truck Series, I think, has a lot of great talent and a lot of great racers in it, and I think it's very cool to see the trucks race as opposed to the same thing as the Cup cars, but with a different look because it's not the COT, but it's a lower form of the car. Ooh. I think that's cool to see a Silverado, to see a Tundra, to see an F-150 racing out there as opposed to a dummied-down kid version of the big boy cars in the Cup Series. But at the same time, is it worth saving? I think the Truck Series is. Don't think the Nationwide Series is. Just saying. At the Alan Bailey on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram if you want to get involved in that conversation. On that note, the show is over. Catch you on Wednesday during Shifting Gears. Also, big announcement coming on StasFeed.com. More details on Wednesday's show. Log on to stashfeed.com to get the feed and to check out the latest information. That's going to do it from here in Southern California. I'm Alan Bailey for everybody at ARN, the American Racing Network, and the Pit Pass. We'll see ya at the track.
Broadcasting from the ARN Racing Studios in Southern California, ARN, Los Angeles. This is ARN, the American Racing Network.